and fresh ideas. Well, we consider ourselves hip and fresh and rad and all that. So we want to introduce the new triple stack Patty Whack. It's cool and right on. It's on the chain. Most of all, it's whack. Try one if you're cool. Visit your local McDonald's on 5th and Vine in Greensboro. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Miracle Whip is sorta kinda, not really, like mayo, but multiplied by awesomeness. You see, we've got this bold, tangy flavor that is unlike anything you've ever tasted. 1 out of 4 people in this country loves the creamy, sweet, and tangy taste of Miracle Whip. Sadly, 2 out of the other 4 hate them for it, and 1 out of those 2 haven't even tried it. Well, we think 1 out of 2 of the original 4 is being pretty unfair. Let's declare an end to this injustice, this unfair treatment against a simple sandwich spread. Miracle Whip, sorta kinda, not really, like mayo.
Man, please.
Oh yes, welcome back. You're listening to the Man Please Show. I'm your host, Trog, and I'm very happy to be with you today. It's 6:16 in the p.m., January the 28th, 2015. Yes, and so, you know what today is? Today's a very special and important anniversary. And I'm sure a lot of you who've watched any news today know this already, but it's the Challenger disaster, the shuttle disaster. The 29th anniversary, 29 years ago. I think that was in 1986. 86. That, you know, to me, I mean, I know that's almost 30 years ago. But it doesn't seem that long ago. But it is, golly, that's over half of my life. I'm 53, just in case you didn't know. And so it has been a long time ago. And I remember, I really do remember back then very well. Because, a lot of the shows that were on TV today were asking you, where were you when the Challenger shuttle explosion disaster happened? Where were you? A lot of people I know in my life weren't even alive. But I was in 1986. I was a firefighter, a fireman, a fire protection specialist. What I was actually called. And I was a fire protection specialist in the United States Air Force. That's right. I am a veteran. And, I was a fireman, but I had a special duty, special assignment, location, I guess. It wasn't just a regular old fire department on a Air Force base. I was stationed at Cheyenne Mountain Complex, better known as NORAD. Some of you may know what that is. Some of you may not. But NORAD is the North Atlantic Defense System. You get that? I'm not sure what it stands for. Basically, it's the main early warning system, or was, for the whole country. And it's inside of a mountain. It's actually inside of a mountain, Cheyenne Mountain, in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And, I come from... I was a military brat. My father was Air Force also. And he happened to be in personnel. So I kind of had an inside track So when I got out of basic training, my dad was like, where do you want to go? I was like, really? Yeah, where do you want to go? Well, I didn't want to go to Hawaii. You know why? Because I'm afraid of flying. I'm afraid of drowning. I'm afraid of getting eaten by sharks. All kind of things that are possible when you go to Hawaii. You got to fly there. Ain't nobody trying to drive a boat. I used to have a bass boat. It'd take me forever to get there. So I didn't want to go to Hawaii. It's too far. I've always been kind of a mountain man. Kind of look like a mountain man. And there was nothing better in because, I'm from North Carolina, so I've experienced the Great Smoky Mountains. And they're awesome. I love them. But I wanted to experience some new mountains. And I knew Colorado Springs had some beautiful mountains. So I said, well, why don't you hook me up? Why don't you send me to Colorado Springs? He said, done. And, you graduate from basic training, and then you go to your tech school. My tech, I was a firefighter, so I had 6 weeks of tech school. Golly, that was a biatch. That was worse than basic training for me. Basic training was a piece of cake. And so I went to tech school and then found out, hey, Trog. They called me Trog then. That's where I got the name from when I was in the Air Force. They called me Trog. And they said, Trog, you're going to Colorado Springs. I said, yes, I knew that. And so I loaded up the truck and I moved to Beverly. No, I moved to Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I was a firefighter stationed at NORAD. I had never heard of NORAD, but my dad knew that it was, because there's an Air Force base there too, Peterson. And there's an Army base, Fort Carson. It's a big, and the Air Force Academy is there. That's where my first 2 children were born, the Air Force Academy. And Cheyenne Mountain Complex. And my dad knew that I would really dig that assignment. And I did. Because, this entire base, there's 11, now picture this, there's 11 3-story buildings inside of this mountain. And I don't mean on the out, half of them on the outside kind of going in, I'm talking, you have to go through a set of blast doors at the entrance. And it's this big oval cut out of this, just out of the side of a mountain. I'm not exaggerating. And so you get on a bus and then you drive like 3/4 of a mile, almost a mile, until you get to another set of blast doors. You get off the bus, you go through the other set of blast doors, and they check you in. And then you're inside the complex. You still haven't gotten to the buildings yet. So you walk through, you're inside of a mountain. This thing is huge. It's, it looks like it's about 30 feet above you is, so it's not like walking through a little short tunnel. No, they got vehicles in here, and so the ceilings are 30 feet plus. So you don't feel claustrophobic, but it's so huge. And this is a granite mountain, mind you. This ain't just, dirt and rocks. This is a granite mountain. And so this entire complex has been blasted out, and there's 11 3-story buildings in there. And I was a firefighter inside this complex. And it was very cool. We even had a pumper inside there. It was specially made for this location. So, it was a little different than other pumpers, but it was still a pumper. Fire truck. And it was awesome. I drove it. And so anyway, I was stationed there for 3.5 years, actually. The entire time, because half of it was basic training. Half of, I was in for 4 years. And, 8 weeks. Let's see, 6 and 6. 12 weeks. 2 months. And then the rest was, that was basic training in tech school. And then the rest was in Colorado Springs, which was awesome. It was a piece of cake. So, toward the end of my tour, when I was short, that's what we used to call it. Yeah, hey, I'm short, man. I had, they moved me from just being a regular firefighter to working in the alarm room. And that's answering the phones, responding to alarms, logs, all that kind of stuff. And they, there were a couple of us, 2 or 3, whatever, that were short. So they worked up a swing shift, and I was on 3rd shift. So I had just come off of a 3rd shift, and I'd come home, and it has to be dark for me to sleep, and you work 3rd shift, you come home, you're ready to go to bed. I might get something to eat or something, but so I went in my room, I closed the door, and of course I had a TV in there. I've had a TV in my room since they've made TVs. And closed the door, had the windows blacked out, and it felt like it was nighttime. And I knew that the Challenger was lifting off today. And I knew that it was, right about now. I was in the bed, all comfy. TV on, windows blacked out, quiet. And so I turned it on, and there it is. The Challenger. It's on the platform. They show the people. Everybody's excited. And this was a special thing because Krista McCullough, the school teacher, she was on this shuttle. And so this was a big deal. Plus, there was a North Carolina boy from there, Mr. Ron McNair. He's from A&T. And then he went to MIT and graduated from MIT. This guy was a genius. They all were. And, these were exciting times to see us flex our technology muscle. So I'm watching it, and I see it taking off, and it's going up, and I'm like, wow, that's cool. I wish I was there watching that. And it's going up, and it's going up. Man, that's awesome. Look at it go. It's just amazing. It's going. 73 seconds into it, all of a sudden, there's fire where there shouldn't be fire. And then there's a massive explosion. Well, that's not right. And then there's debris flying everywhere, smoke. The shuttle exploded. Oh my gosh. What just happened? 7 astronauts killed. We don't know if they were killed instantly. I don't even want to speculate if they survived the blast only to perish falling down to the ocean. Golly. Anyway, I can't think about it. 7 astronauts. They investigated it only to find out it was a faulty fuel tank. It was a rubber gasket on a fuel tank that NASA knew that the conditions were too cold for this rubber to work like it's supposed to work. They knew it, and they warned whoever gave the go-ahead. But they said, hey, let's do it anyway. And they did. Those astronauts' fates were sealed. But we learned and we grow